we're officially calling it?
Okay, Leo, there's many terms for October. You got Inktober, you got Shocktober. Everybody else help me out here because I'm drawing literally.
You got Rocktober.
Thank you. The Blanktober. You know, I have a Blanktober moment here. Listen, Leo, the point being is I understand
Drunktober.
You haven't been getting out as much lately because for some reason you're like an autumn groundhog right now. But calm down, okay? Welcome back. Stop yelling. And
I'm not yelling. It's pumpkin season.
Okay.
It's jack-o'-lantern season.
Okay. Let's just settle this one thing for splash pages, okay?
Pumpkin spice.
Who here is either your pro pumpkin spice or your pro apple cider?
Both.
Apple cider.
Okay. Apple cider. Although I will give an honorable mention, and I think we all can agree, pumpkin pie. We all can agree a good pumpkin slice of pumpkin pie, always good.
Oh yeah, okay. Pumpkin pie, pumpkin chai latte from Starbucks.
Leo, you can have it, okay?
Apple pie a la mode.
Apple crumb apple pie. And
Facebook user says Deadly Season. Yeah, Deadly Grounds coffee if you...
Oh, it's also Deadly Season too.
Oh, yeah. I've been drinking pumpkin for the past 3 weeks now.
All right.
Pumpkin Deadly Grounds.
Leo, it's not going to be gone, man. It's going to come back. It's fall.
I know.
You know, the way you sound like you're drinking it like they're going to endanger pumpkins. Calm down. You're getting 2 for $10 at Stop and Shop.
You never know. There could be a pumpkin shortage, you know?
Prices of pumpkin, it's going through the roof.
Although I do want to show you guys something really great because we already decorated in my apartment, and I want to share this with us and our viewers. Can you see those lights above me right now?
Are those ghost lights?
Yes, they are, but they are very special ghost lights. So I want everyone to see this. So, oh God, not see that. All right,
pull up your pants, Drew. Pull up your pants.
Shut up. All right, ready? Can you guys see it?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, no way.
All right. Nice. In your neighborhood. Ghostbusters! And it don't look good. Who you gonna call?
Thank you. All right. So thank you all. And
those are awesome.
Thank you. What happens when your mom?
Thank you very much.
We're a little too invested in the season. Also, guys, I need to admit something before we get to the news. I have done a first for my October. I have finally watched the original Halloween.
Oh wow!
Awesome. Yeah,
for the first time ever.
First time ever.
All right.
Yeah, great. Absolutely.
Have you seen any of the other Halloweens?
No, I haven't. I am aware of them, so I know that at a certain point I need to stop watching because it just goes all downhill. So,
so actually, I'm not a Halloween major fan. I enjoyed the first one. Right. I didn't really care for the third one, but I know Brandon loves the third one. But apparently, the last 2 that came out ignore
everything.
Almost everything, yeah.
Yeah, basically, Leo, there are 4 different timelines within the Halloween universe. I like how I've only watched one, and I know this. So you have the main one, which was Halloween 1 and 2, and then everything else up to that. Then you had Halloween H2O, which I think is kind of similar because whatnot. And then you have the Rob Zombie one, which is a completely different Mike Myers timeline and whatnot, and then you have our current one, which ignores all the events of Halloween except the first movie. So it's literally a continuation of the first movie. So there's no Laurie as Michael's sister. There's no niece who is connected to him psychically. There's no Josh Hartnett nephew. There's no Busta Rhymes. There's no Tyra Banks. There's no Rob Zombie's wife in the movie, whatnot. There's no Halloween 4 or 5, the stupid cult one, where they're like, "Oh, this is what happened. It's because of a cult that Michael is." I'm like, stop.
How about the one he went in space?
That's Jason X.
Ah,
Yeah, common mistake. But yeah, I mean, bringing back to my point about Halloween, you can tell that a lot of what that movie did became basically kind of slasher horror movie 101. And I did learn something really important, Leo, that if we want to create something suspenseful in splash pages, what we need to do is we have a suspenseful moment, you just a couple of keys and then synthesizer it. So, we got a guest tonight. I'm like, wow.
I should program that into the board.
You should. We could that, or we just do what we plan. We save up the money and have Randy Newman do a Splash Pages theme song. You got a nerd in me. You got a nerd in me. When the comics are turning gray, you gotta listen to what Randy says to you.
Well, since you brought it up, Drew, I don't know if either of you guys tried the Munsters yet.
Not yet.
The
I've
Rob
heard
Zombie
things,
Munsters.
I'm gonna be honest.
I got through 30 minutes. and I'm gonna leave it at that. That's how far I got because I couldn't watch any more. Not for
I have a friend who's a big Munsters fan, and he watched the whole thing, and I believe his words were, "I want my 2 hours back."
Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I only forged 30 minutes. So
yeah. Although I do know, speaking of horror, is that I believe this month we're supposed to get that new Wednesday series on Netflix. So I'm kind of curious to see about that, to be quite honest. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah,
I don't see that converting often.
Wednesday looks good. Also, we're supposed to be getting a re-release of Long Halloween, the animated version.
Right.
I haven't seen that come out yet.
Okay, well, let's hope they don't just give us flashes of the last one and really cheap it out, as they have been known to do on occasion.
Well, no, supposedly there was some cut scenes that are going to be put back in that make it like a R rating.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I mean, listen, if people want to watch that, that's fine. We watched it. I said my piece. I'm moving on. So I do have to ask though, before we get guys, it's a spooky season. What are your required watchings for Halloween movies? Like, do you have any that you like to start with, or do you just whatever you feel is spookiest?
Well, I mainly watch the paranormal shows. That's normally what I watch.
So you don't do horror movies?
No, nope.
Okay, Rich, what about you?
Honestly, Drew, for me, I used to like a lot of the Michael Myers and Jason stuff when I was younger. But as I got older, I felt like horror was just going for gross out. Okay. So I kind of stopped watching that. But like, if I'm in the mood for something in the Halloween season, there's always The Simpsons. They always do their Halloween special. And American Horror Story is great.
Okay.
Or most of the seasons are great. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we watch a lot of the murder shows regularly. Like we just watched the Netflix Dahmer thing, and we really enjoyed that.
So I just also remembered, speaking of horror, something that I spoke with some friends about. There's a new Hellraiser that's coming out, I believe, in October via Hulu, and I saw the trailer, and let me say, I'm pumped. Leo probably won't be able to sleep after he watches it, but I'm thoroughly excited. It looks right on par with the first two movies. And I do know that the book's creator, the writer, Clive Barker, was more involved in this project than he has been on a lot of Hellraiser stuff. But of course, Leo, the big thing with this is that this time where it looks like there's going to be a female actress playing the character who we dubbed Pinhead,
Yeah.
but as Clive Barker would prefer us refer to him as the Priest. So that's going to be great, and I'm sure when I see it, I'll probably give a small review here. But so that we've addressed the spookiness, so let's get to the news while we wait for our guest. What's the news, guys? Who wants to go first?
Well, biggest thing we got going on right now is new Black Panther trailer dropped, and there's a lot in that trailer.
There's so much in that. Like, wow, that's honestly, that's how trailers should be. I'm excited to see that movie a little bit more just watching that trailer.
Well, so I mean, obviously it's a trailer, so obviously spoilers. But we get Namor with the winged feet, and he's actually using them. I thought that would look totally goofy, but it actually looks badass.
Right. And on like when I saw him do the leaps,
that was kick-ass.
That looked just like in the comics.
Yep.
You know, and you also get skeptical because let's be real here. Namor's costume is just ridiculous. I mean, it's literally just the bottoms of a swimsuit. But again, it works the way they've done it. And we talked about this, Rich. We talked about this the last show. The changes, the way they changed him, it still works for the character. He's still he's still a ruler. He's still responsible.
And clearly there's still an aquatic connection because it looked like he was flooding Wakanda.
Yeah, and that's a big deal because that was a huge moment in the controversy between Atlantis and Wakanda, specifically during the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline in 2012. So, you know, that's interesting that we bring that up. And I got to be honest with you, like when we saw our new Black Panther, I was like, yeah, you look great.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that looks like his sister.
Yeah,
yeah. And we also get Riri in Ironheart Mark 1.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I need to see a little bit more. Yeah. I'm so about the character myself. Again, if they do well with her, you know, hey, it's one of those where I'm walking in at hesitation, but if they do well with her, I'm like, okay, cool. They're a great Marvel character.
Yeah. Well, I'm aware of her, and I know sort of her origin, but I'm ignorant on her storyline. So I'm excited to see a new character.
We'll see. So that's definitely the biggest. Yeah, I mean, I literally just watched the trailer while our intro was going, so it's fresh in my mind. But honestly, it was the trailer itself. I mean, Ryan Coogler clearly is very passionate about the project. Everything still looks beautiful.
Yeah, and there's a really nice scene with Namor and Black Panther's mother. Looked very intense.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a really good movie. I can tell already. So, go Marvel. So, are there any big news on the DC front? I know that a lot of the news I've seen has still been very occupied with Dark Crisis, which I hear has been pretty big.
I keep seeing more and more revelations of why Batgirl was canceled, and do we even care at this point?
Yeah, that's exactly the thing, Rich. And I got to be honest with you, I really don't pay too much attention to that. Even my wanting to report it here, to me, it's just fueling the rumor mill. And I got to be honest, we talked about this. I still feel like it's kind of like what Deadpool did. Remember, Deadpool was canceled, and then they leaked that footage, and then suddenly, oh my God, this is amazing! Bring this movie back, and then okay, cool guys, we're gonna do the movie. And hey, Kyle.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Kyle?
Good evening. How are you?
I see that everybody else has turned. I got to turn.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah, exactly. Just everybody, Kyle. You have to make sure
we'll figure this out.
No worries.
While he figures out his camera, just real quick, did you guys talk about Wolverine last week?
Yes.
Okay.
We popped 2 sets of claws. It was a big deal. Yeah. Our Canada faces were very real.
So, Rich, would you like to introduce your guest?
Absolutely. So, Kyle, before I butcher your last name, I've said Pascuitti for years, but do you want to correct me real quick?
It's Pascuitti.
All right, so Kyle Pascuitti,
Nobody gets it. Don't even worry.
the owner of Decimated Designs, which is a movie and prop and makeup company. They have all different kinds of services, which he'll tell us about, I'm sure. And he has a new product, and coming in with Halloween, he is involved in a New York City haunt, which is pretty exciting. And why don't you tell us what's going on, Kyle? Hi, how are you? Hey, buddy.
Hey. All right, so first I'm going to hold, I think I'm the only one here on phone, so I'm just going to hold this. If it's a little shaky, I apologize.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You can go Cloverfield with it, dude. It's fine. You know, get that shaky camera angle. It's okay.
So now, Kyle, I know that you're a makeup artist. You've made huge props for Terrificon. Mm-hmm. You've built the biggest witch statue in Salem, Massachusetts.
I mean, it's not official. No one has told me this, but I've looked through Salem and we cannot find a witch statue that is larger than the one we made. So I'm calling it until somebody calls me out for it.
Oh, all right. I think that's still pretty impressive.
Someone to go to all the statues and just write it down.
And I know you've worked on movies. You've gone to India to work on a movie. Mm-hmm. You got sick there.
Well, I did, and so did everybody else on set. Yeah, there's so many things to talk about. So yeah, Decimated Designs, makeup, props, effects. We kind of like to be the guys that you come to when everybody else turns you down for a project. Like, oh, is this crazy enough for us? Great, we're the guys. Right now we're opening. This weekend we opened the haunt in New York City in Times Square. Oh, look at that.
And what's that called, Kyle?
What is that, Jim?
Publicity. Oh, man, the Thanos.
Yep, we built Thanos.
What's the name of the haunt in New York City?
Terror Haunted House. Keeping it simple.
And if I go to this haunted house and I am, quote unquote, not terrified, do I lodge a complaint with your company? Or is that just a sign about me and that I can't be scared right now?
Well,
dude, I'm just fucking with you.
There will always be people who go to haunted houses who are not scared. And there will always be people who go to haunted houses who are terrified. We are there to entertain you. So if you leave, with a smile on your face, feeling that you've had a good time, that's all we can do. If somebody comes in who's like a Marine who just got back from overseas, there ain't nothing we can do. Nothing. But if we can make a couple jokes, maybe, if we can have them see a piece of art, then we've done our job.
Fair enough. And I was talking with you. I've worked at a haunt, Kyle, so I was just totally messing with you. No worries. I totally agree with you. You never know what you're going to expect, but it is really fun when you do terrify people. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a sick joy, especially if it's in a group, because then somehow the fear causes them to huddle and run together, and it literally lambs to the slaughter because you just follow.
My favorite is we did a soft open last weekend, and first time open, we had someone pee themselves.
Nice.
And it's not the pee, it's not people pooping themselves that really makes my heart, grow 3 sizes. It's when you get an entire group of people that all fall over together. That's just the best. Because you're right, they huddle, and then one person goes, and it takes everybody with them.
Yep. Yes,
absolutely. Now, it's at a really interesting building, isn't it, Kyle?
Yeah, I don't know the entire history. I know that it used to be a theater, and then it got split up into sections, and so now we're technically in, I guess, the lobby section of an old New York theater. We've got Madame Tussauds on one side of us. We've got Dave and Buster's on the other. A lot of history there. A lot of things that happen to move on their own, or shadows out of the corner of your eye kind of stuff.
I was about to say, my dude, that this sounds like a horror movie. Like I've seen this horror movie. So you've seen some shit. That thing's haunted. So cool. So
We had one of our guys actually just left Six Flags corporate to come work for us.
cool.
Very, very talented person. And it was the end of the night. We were finishing up putting up some lighting. And we're like, all right, let's pack up. And he goes, wait, what about the lighting guy who's been up there? We go, there's nobody up there. There hasn't. And he swore he saw somebody for about 10 to 15 minutes that he thought was up adjusting the lights. We were only talking about them. We were just talking about what we wanted to do the next day. He thought somebody was actively up there. And ghost white when we told him.
Wow.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, what kind of square footage do you have, Kyle?
Square footage. I know we're the largest. We're technically the largest haunted house in New York City. I want to say it's 20,000 square feet, something like that.
It's a big spot.
Yeah, it's a nice big spot. There are future plans for the location. We'll be doing a Christmas show, holiday show, I should say. And then I don't think I can talk about what's coming after that quite yet. But we'll be doing a big renovation, and there will be immersive theatrical experiences in there. So we're kind of turning it back into a theater from what it was.
And it's not going to be a regular Christmas show, is it?
This one, originally we had wanted to do something that was Krampus themed, and we kind of looked at it and said, not this year. So this year it will be family friendly. It'll be probably movie scenes. So like there'll be a Grinch scene, there'll be a Miracle on 34th, there'll be a Nightmare Before Christmas, and do more like a family friendly photo op kind of a thing.
Okay.
But in your defense, Krampus is family friendly because he teaches kids what happens when they behave like little shits. They get thrown in a sack, taken somewhere, and beaten with sticks. So they behave, right? What's the problem there? Like kids behave, or evil Santa is gonna beat you the fuck up. Boom, done.
Teach both sides. If you're gonna teach Santa, you gotta teach Krampus.
Thank you.
Exactly.
100%. You know.
See, Kyle, I told you, you're amongst friends.
Thank you. So I have a few. So Kyle, I do have a question. So because you do a lot of props stuff, so I have 3 questions. The first one is, what is something about your business making props and everything that is totally true, or something that people think is true and you just want to myth bust the shit out of it? Number 2, what is the coolest thing you've been asked to make or do? And Thanos statue definitely would count, but you don't have, if it's not that, it's fine. And what's something that you're like, if someone said, hey, can you make this for me? You'd be like, Futurama, shut up and take this money. I got you. Like,
okay.
So
the number one thing I always tell everybody is time. Nobody understands how long it takes to make something. That's just it. If you're talking myth busting, there is the amount of money that you have to throw at something. And this is true even more so now that I'm working in New York City. I just got off a phone call asking if I can do makeup for 200 people on Halloween on top of doing the haunt.
No.
The answer is no until you throw enough money at me.
Right.
If you throw enough money at me, I will make the world move. But it's going to be New York City money, and it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, and you're going to hire a team on the most expensive night of the year.
Exactly.
Right.
100%. And it's there's the triangle, right? The pyramid. It's either cheap, fast, or good. You can only pick 2.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So if it's cheap and fast, it's not going to be good. If it's cheap and good, it's not going to be fast. And whatever the third one is, because I can't remember the combinations.
Fast and good, it's not going to be cheap.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So the one that I got asked to make that was like, okay, yes, we got this. I have a thing for Ghostbusters. I don't know if you can tell. Actually, yeah.
Oh my God.
My shop, I mean, I'm looking at 2 Slimers, 3 Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and I have the Hasbro Proton Pack on order that'll arrive next year.
Guys, when he's done talking, should I show him? I feel like I should show him,
yeah.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
Kyle, when we're done, we have a lot of similarities, but continue, please.
Okay. So we, believe it or not, I got college credit to make a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man costume. It was, costume making class. It was an art thing. It was like a whatever, but I got college credit to make the Stay Puft suit. And I did it just using upholstery foam, and I made a pattern out of it. And when I was done with it, I put it up online. So a bunch of people took the patterns and made their own. Somebody made a baby version, and they put those patterns up. So it became like a whole thing. Mm-hmm. And then I got involved with a shadow cast group in New York City. You know how they sometimes do Rocky Horror with it playing behind them, and they act it out in front?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll name Minions of Gozer. The great people. Yeah. Love working with them. I wish they were still around. But so we made a really nice suit. Instead of upholstery foam, we used L200, which is what they originally made Stay Puft out of, or at least his body out of. Coated in a latex acrylic silicone, all kinds of stuff. So from there, somebody saw that, and we made a 13-foot version, which went to St. Louis, and then that guy fell off the face of the earth, so nobody even saw it. We just shipped it out. And then from there, the Epic Rap Battles of History people found us and said, we're doing the Ghostbusters versus Mythbusters. So we made the Stay Puft suit for them.
Oh my God.
And then we happened to be at Transworld. I happen to be wearing the Transworld Halloween sweatshirt at the moment. And somebody came up to our booth. So Transworld is the largest Halloween haunted house trade show in the world.
Cool.
And
Chicago.
Our booth, what's that?
Chicago, isn't it?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Oh, okay.
They switched it in its early days. It was in Chicago one year, but it's been in St. Louis, I think, the last 10 or so.
Wow. Okay.
So we're there, and this guy comes up to me, and he's looking through my little portfolio of stuff, and he goes, "Oh, Stay Puft. Did you get that licensed?" And I'm freaking out because it was used in these things, and I'm still a kid, and I don't know. And I go, no, it wasn't. He goes, "You want to get it licensed? We're opening a New York show, and we need someone to build the suit." I'm like, "Okay, we need to talk." So we go and talk. He opened the Ghostbusters experience in Dubai. And they were going to, this is 2015, 2016, they were going to open the Ghostbusters immersive experience in New York City.
Right.
And we were talking, we had budgets, we were starting to write up the contract. And I'm like, this is my jam. Now I have money to make a Stay Puft suit. And this is what I've always wanted. And it's awesome and great. And then the entire thing got shut down because somebody decided to make a new movie in 2016 that didn't involve any of the original stuff.
Right.
So they couldn't do the original experience. So 11th hour, it all got shut down.
Dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Shattering.
I know.
How far did you get on it? Did you start it?
We did not start it. We were nothing gets built until contracts are signed. Right. So we had done pricing, we'd done material, like getting the material orders ready, because it was going to be a whole different style of build. Because like the suit in the film, even by the time they were done filming it, it had turned yellow because of oxidization and exposure to UV light and all this kind of stuff. So we had to come up with something that looked like the original, that looked like Marshmallow, that would hold up to daily use, to people sweating in the costume, to New Yorkers, running up and vomiting on it. So we had some really high-end, expensive materials. It actually, I think, came close to the cost of the original suit even though there were no animatronics or anything in it, just because of the materials that had to be used.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
And they were going to pull the trigger. I'm so mad. Still mad about that one.
Yeah. What's the thing, like, again, if someone offered it to you, you'd be like, yes, we're doing it.
I mean, I'd probably still have to say, I mean, there's a lot of those. They're filming a new Ghostbusters, so anything they need, I'm here. I'll be in New York City if they need anything. I think if Halloween Horror Nights came calling, I would probably jump on that. You know, certain films, you know, if they said, oh, we need you out in California, great. I had such a good experience in India, I would go back in a heartbeat. That's a tough question because there's so many things I want to do. Yeah.
Because you're still a baby.
I don't know about all that.
So, Leo, Rich, should I show him? Right, I should show him, right?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so there's that little Ghostbuster shrine. Right
okay,
there.
I see all the pops.
Yep, and the one on top is actually a custom pop of me. I'm a Ghostbuster cosplayer, and then got my little Ghostbuster wall there.
Very nice.
Yep, and then let's see, those ghosts up there. If we press the button, they'll play the song and sing.
Okay. And
you brought up the proton pack. I built my own myself. And,
it's the one thing I've never had the time. I wish I could build my own, but at this, you know, I've got the Hasbro one ordered.
Yeah,
that thing.
Listen, it took me a year, man, and I bet. It is literally, it was the most difficult thing I've ever had to do in my life. I had to order all the pieces. I was like, this is so much more difficult than Legos. I was like, the Legos just put it together, but now I'm like, I got to glue, and
well, here's a question: Do they have, so like for Star Wars fans? I know there's a R2 Builders Guild. Does the Ghostbusters have like a guild for like proton packs? Like,
not really. Well, essentially, what they have is they have kits for Ghostbusters. Like, you can buy certain kits, which will have like essentially give you recommendations. They'll have blueprints out. The goal is for you to make the pack. But, you know, and there are websites that you can go to. Ghostbustersprops.com is one place. You can buy the stuff, and it's custom made, that it looks like it's from the movie. And then essentially it's, you buy it, you assemble it yourself. So it's literally like your little proton baby.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, and there are different ones and whatnot. And then anything custom, like if you want a real Ghostbusters, an extreme Ghostbusters, you want something from the 2016, you want to build a slime blower. That's a little harder to come by, but it's not impossible. So either you can pay someone like our guest over here to do it, in which he would be glad to, but it's going to cost you buku money.
Oh yeah.
But again, he's not, you know, it's not like, oh, that'll be $10,000, you know, but it'll not be, yeah, I can do that for $500. Get the fuck out. You know, a proton pack, at least to build one successfully, it costs at least $2,000 to $5,000. Easy, especially if you want lights and sound, because that, you know, but especially it depends on how, because some people can do it on that. Some people want to take their time, as our guest would love to do, because he wants to make that shit legit. So, you know, you're gonna make that shit look pretty as hell because it's going to the ball.
So the pack that they use, the frame that they build, that everybody builds their pack on, the Alice frame,
yes,
it also happens to be perfect for giant puppets and giant costumes, because it's so easy to work with.
It's true.
But because of all the cosplayers, they routinely sell out in the US. You cannot find a Army Navy surplus that'll sell you the Alice pack because it's from the military. So at one point, we actually had to ship them in from China, and China has minimum orders. So in the back of my shop, just sitting here waiting for puppets to be built on them, are about a dozen black Alice frames that now I'm kind of like, am I gonna be selling them to cosplayers when the new Hasbro pack drops and everybody needs them and nobody can find them?
Yep, you will, and you're
yeah.
gonna. And let me just tell you, you just make that rain that proton money, my dude. Like, because it's literally a Field of Dreams situation. If you sell it, they will come.
Oh, also the Hasbro pack, they stopped taking pre-orders for that, right?
Yes,
they did. It got so quickly, and I chose not to, and I kind of regret that. But my girl was like, "You already have one proton pack. Do you really need another?" And I'm like, "My heart says yes, but my pocket says no." But plus on top of, let's be real here, a couple of years down the line, someone's going to be selling it for like $200, and I'll be like, I'll take it. Like sometimes, Leo, it's just about waiting.
Yeah,
you know, especially when you're already a Ghostbuster, you were like, please, like y'all have fun.
Absolutely. You know? So Kyle, now you've been involved in haunts for way over a decade. What would you say the level of this new project is for you? Is this like the top you've ever done?
So New York City is an animal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a completely different animal. This is being run like a theater. We have a front of house manager, we have a house manager, we have a cast manager, we have a lighting person, we have a sound person. I'm not used to that. It's been very, very nice because I can kind of manage all these people, and because they're from Broadway, I'm still imparting the knowledge of, okay, here's how you use a boo box. Here's how you connect DMX from a haunt prop to your system, stuff like that. So in many ways, it is the most high level haunting I've done. I would say we've been involved with projects that were a slightly larger scale. We did one up north of Salem, Massachusetts, that was in the woods, that we built an entire mansion out of shipping containers. And the budget for this and the budget for that are actually very similar, but because it's New York City, it's a whole different thing, I think what you're seeing this year is a first-year haunt in the most visible space in the world, in Times Square. I'm very excited about this. I think we're going to have a ton of people running into the streets of Times Square. But I'm even more excited for what's going to come in the future, because the plans for this place are insane. Being able to do a haunt in what is essentially a black box theater that is set up specifically for this and specifically to bring an environment to life. There's no other place that does that.
Right. That sounds incredible. Now, now your regular business, the Decimated Designs, is in Northern Connecticut, and now you have had to temporarily relocate to New York City?
I just came back from a 2-week stint down there. Before that, it was another week. And then I'll be heading down tomorrow for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and coming back Monday, Tuesday. So I'm working out of both locations at the moment. Pretty much until New Year's, I am primarily living in New York City.
Are you getting any sleep?
Believe it or not, New York City does sleep. All the restaurants do close. And my rule with them is that I get 8 hours of sleep. I made that a rule. No matter what happened, I don't care if we work till 5 o'clock in the morning, which we have. The next day, I roll over and I get my 8 hours.
Right.
That's been my one. I'll work to the bone, but that's
work
it.
Till 5, but you'll wake up at 1.
Yeah. but it's been a lot of fun. The last couple haunts I've done, I've been the guy. Yeah, I've been the one running it. I've been the one owning it, operating it, doing social media, build, lighting, sound, and just being able to kind of like manage and stay in my lane. You know, I don't have to do anything with social media for this one, and it's amazing.
Yeah, because you're a partner in this project, correct?
I am. I think I end up as a co-producer or something like that. I don't know the official title, but production manager, head of makeup, and somewhere along the lines of like co-producer or assistant producer. I don't know how they name the producer roles.
Yeah, as long as the check keeps coming.
Yes.
So,
name of the game.
Rich, do you have this information? Because I feel like after we're done, I'm going to see if he has any job openings, because this all sounds fantastic. And
yeah, Kyle is. We've become friends. I've met him through Terrificon from I think the first. I think you did the first year, right? The first year at Mohegan Sun.
I've done every year of Terrificon except this last year.
Right. See, let's see. So you did Thanos. No, you did the Thanos statue. Mm-hmm. You did the Galactus head.
We did the Galactus head, which is now down in New Jersey.
Oh, really?
The Galactus, we just opened. Well, we just built a bunch of stuff for A&S Comics in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. They got Galactus, Venom, Hulk, and a 4-foot-tall Goku Funko Pop.
Nice. Cool. Now, how do you fabricate all that stuff?
So, let me just tell you, in the next hour entirely how I do every single thing in the shop.
I'm assuming it's designed on a computer. And
yeah,
then
so
is that all made
Galactus
with foam, or do you print it, or is it a combination thereof?
Galactus is a little bit different. So we did Galactus, and I don't know if you have a picture of the Attack on Titan head, the Colossal Titan we did.
I'll take a look. I'm going through your Facebook or Instagram, actually. And just real quick, I think this is Tom from Deadly Grounds. Says, Kyle is serious talent. Deadly Grounds was lucky to have him create our zombie spokesperson.
That would be probably Tom, yeah. Tom was great. I love that. That was my first time. There's a company that called RBFX that does really, really high-end prosthetics. That was my first time getting to use one of those. The edges just lay down like butter. It was so nice. That commercial turned out so well.
Yeah, and Kyle did my Suicide Smile. I think that was 2018, 2019.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love that one. A haunted house somewhere middle of the country bought that. They didn't even know what it was.
Nice.
But they just, when you throw money at something, it's yours.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's a very talented young man.
But seriously, though, if you guys need someone to get coffee, I'll get coffee. All sounds really great.
Do you need haunt actors, Kyle, or are you guys all full?
I think we're full at the moment. It's not my job to hire them. We have a hiring manager. It's crazy.
There you go.
Cool. He's gonna give me information. I'm gonna reach out.
Yeah, that I can do.
Well, if everybody's interested, I do have your website information and show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And it's Decimated Designs, and I think that's just your website as well. Yeah, DecimatedDesigns.com.
If you search Decimated Designs or Get Decimated, you find us pretty much everywhere.
Okay, cool.
Nice. Yeah. I found him on the TikTok.
Yeah. It was you, right? We were talking about the other Joker.
Yeah,
TikTok Joker.
Yeah, you met him. And then
we randomly, I took my girlfriend to Times Square. We had a whole nice thing for her birthday. Went to see Phantom of the Opera and dinner and everything. And then we went to see the lights. Is it the Madison Avenue Christmas lights or tree or whatever?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we just see this dude on a skateboard dressed up as Joker Santa flying by. And we get to the lights and he's there taking pictures. So I'm like, oh, this will be funny. We'll take pictures with the guy. And then he absolutely blew up for not all the right reasons. I don't know if you've looked into him. He's a crazy, crazy man.
Yeah, I've seen some of his posts, but I haven't seen anything like too outrageous. But I haven't dug too far into him.
So his name, I'll just start with his name. Straight Drop Lace. So lace is a reference to graffiti. Leave every can empty, or leave all cans empty. Lace.
Okay.
But straight drop is something you do when you're doing what is it, crack or cocaine?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Learning something new
so-
every day.
Just a very weird encounter with a guy in the middle of New York, and now it's like blown up.
Yeah, he's very big on like he's on all TikTok, YouTube. He's everywhere. And there were a bunch of kids because I do delivery all over Massachusetts, and I've got the green hair, and they kept being like, "Are you the TikTok Joker?" And I would, I still had my mask on, that has the Joker smile and everything, and I just wouldn't tell him for a while. And so I put up a couple posts that I'm not that guy, but yeah, it was just weird. He has like a weird following.
Yeah. For a while he was buying crab legs for homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
He
supposedly
was going in like there's video.
Wrapped it in his image, like
he wrapped it. He was on the Daily Show at like spring break. I want to say Miami, jumping on a car, yelling about how COVID is fake. Weird, like Joker. The Joker brand does not need that kind of energy.
Right, I agree.
But yeah.
Interesting.
So this is the newest project, right, Kyle? Or is
The
there something else? The Haunt. Do you have anything else in the works?
We always have stuff in the works. What can I talk about is the question. End of the month, the movie we shot in India comes out.
What is that called?
That is Kumari.
Kumari. And
I believe it's. I think I'm saying it right. Okay. It could just be Kumari, but I think it's Kumari.
And is it a horror?
It's. I don't know how to describe it. I really don't. Okay. There are horror aspects. It is mostly drama turned up to 11, but there's also religious aspects to it. There's cultural aspects to it. There's the whole, it's talking about the arranged marriage situation in India, and it's very much against it, but then it has this overarching 100-year religious thing.
Sorry.
So it's a very complex movie, sounds like.
It's a very complex, and then the trailer has parts of it that I never read in the script. It seems like now they've turned it into a storybook kind of a thing, where this is a tale that happened, which was never in the script, but fits very, very well to what we shot. And the trailer looks beautiful. The shooting was beautiful. The dailies were amazing.
How long were you out there shooting?
I ended up out there a little bit over a month. We were shooting for 3 weeks, and then coming back into the US, I tested positive for COVID and hunkered down in a 5-star hotel for 10 days, which was not hard at all.
How was your level of sickness when you got it?
Not bad at all. A little bit of the sniffles, a little tired. I had this is my second time having it. Weird symptom where my eyes, the tops of my eyes got bruised. Like it looked like I had black eyes, but on the tops of my eyes.
Wow.
But it kind of worked out because at the time that I was supposed to fly back, was it Yemen was firing missiles at the UAE, United Arab Emirates, which is where Dubai is, which is where my layover was. So I was like, I don't mind waiting this out a little bit.
Yeah, I imagine that.
I go to shoot a movie and end up in the middle of an international conflict.
Right. So no movies in Ukraine or Russia anytime soon.
No, actually, they tried to send me to Russia on the flight back. They're like, oh, if we do this, we can get you in a day earlier. And I was like, nope, we're not doing that. And this was before Ukraine had really started, picked up. This was back in January.
Mm-hmm.
But just the entire thing, you know how they say, like, you travel abroad and you really get a visual on what the U.S. is. I was in the communist region of India shooting a movie mainly like directed, produced by Indian men who live in the U.S., but shooting it on Holy Land where communists tend to be atheists. So there were all these conflicts about, like, this is a communist region, but a Hindu temple. So you have to like pay the Hindu temple to shoot, but you have to pay the communists like basically bribes to be able to shoot there. And then they like made a deal where it's like, oh yeah, we've got craft services. Anytime you or your, compadres want to come and have food, it's open to you. So I'm sitting there eating one day. Craft services had to be on the other side because meat is not allowed in the Hindu temple, and most of them are not Hindu, so everyone's eating meat. And I'm just sitting there eating with a guy and, talking as much English as he can and trying to pick up stuff. And the guy leaves, and the producer comes over and sits next to me and goes, oh yeah, for a while he was the most wanted man in India. He murdered a ton of people. And I'm just like, I'm glad you told me after. Because if you had told me while I was in the middle, I think I would have just ran.
Wow. That's crazy.
Now, is the director Nirmal Sahadev?
Nirmal Sahadev, I believe.
Okay.
And again, I could be butchering these. But Nirmal, yeah. And then the producer, Jiju, he has a couple of things that are out on Amazon right now that are doing very, very well. It's gonna be a long movie. I know there's here in the US we talk about like, oh, the Snyder cut and being cut up and should have been episodic and whatever, but like every movie in India has an intermission.
Wow, that's so cool.
So this, I'm guessing it'll probably be like 2.5 hours with the intermission. It's going to be translated, I think they said, into 12 different languages, none of which are English. So we'll get it in subtitles. I want to do some screenings of it. I'm hoping to. Are you? I don't know much about two of you. I know a little bit about the third. Are you in Connecticut? Or are you in Massachusetts? Where are you guys at?
Leo's in Connecticut. He's by you. And,
okay.
He's up in the Hartford area.
Nope. Westchester, New York.
New York?
Yeah, New York.
Nice. Yeah, Drew's down in Westchester, so he'd be apt to go down to the haunt for sure.
Nice. At some point, I do want to do a rent out a theater, or even if I can get the drive-in theater and do a screening and just invite everybody.
Very cool.
Yeah. You thinking what, like Mansfield, or you're looking in New York, or?
My guess is Mansfield is probably too expensive to rent out. The Southington Drive-In right here near me, they do all kinds of charity events. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Nice.
But if enough people, hey, if we charge, like $5 a head, get Mansfield and have the nice little snack bar they have there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One.
I'll come on down.
I'll make the drive.
Nice.
Sounds fun.
What?
And then we pick a horror movie and we do a double feature.
Yes.
Making a whole.
All right, very enthusiastic.
Yeah, and so is anything else coming out?
Oh boy. I have a secret project. I know it sucks to tease about these kinds of things, but it's the one it's the thorn in my side, because it's the one that I most want to show people right now.
Okay.
We got approached by a company that is not everybody's favorite.
Okay.
And they kind of said to us like, hey, we need big, weird, crazy, bloody things.
Mm-hmm.
You make weird, bloody things. You don't have to put our name on stuff. You know, when you share pictures, we won't put your name on stuff. And we just went, sure. You know, it's not.
Is it an existing property?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not. I mean, it's nobody. It's not like, oh, the Republican National Convention or anything like that. It's just one of those.
I mean, when I say it's an existing property, I mean not that it is this, but I mean it was like The Predator or a series that already exists that we're aware of, or is this something totally new?
It's an existing company. We'll say that.
Okay.
And their stuff kind of sucks, and we've been working to improve it. And this thing that we made, we've done some little stuff for them that's gotten a little bit of attention here and there. And this one, I think it's part of a campaign that they're doing that's already existing.
Mm-hmm.
But they did it in Photoshop. And what we did was make those Photoshops real. And I think it's going to be nuts when I think a lot of people are going to be talking about it. I don't think anybody's going to care about the campaign. But I think when people start seeing the things we made for it, it's going to be one of those water cooler kind of topics. Awesome. And to do what we did, we developed new processes with 3D printing and 3D scanning. There were things that people said, materials that people said could not be painted, that we figured out how to paint. That once this comes out, that kind of information I'd like to share in the cosplay forums and stuff, because it'd be really helpful. But I just have to keep everything under wraps until it comes out.
Sure, absolutely.
I figured it out.
Did you?
Well, you said it's a property that not too many people care about. It's going to be a giant Morbius, and it's going to be a Morbin time theme, right?
Leo, he has not given us any NDAs. Don't create a problem where it doesn't need. There's no Morbin time. Okay? I swear to God, man.
If we could make it better, then we did. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's no way you could have made Morbius better, sir. With all due respect. Okay? Sorry. I'm sorry.
Do you talk about movies? Have you talked about how much of a mess that movie is?
Yes.
Not in depth. Not in depth.
Yes, we have. We have discussed it, and let me tell you, we're not going to go any further. We're not going to dig up like Sony tried. Let's put it back in the theater.
You have to think though, what kind of friggin' marketing department thought that was a good idea? It's a meme, so it must be popular.
I don't think it cost them much to do it though. To put it back in theaters, I think it was an experiment. I think they were trying the only thing they could to make $1 on, what is it? Shine a turd, polish a turd.
Yep.
Listen, my man, I would give them $20 if they could just take it out completely and then put it and go take it Old Yeller style, bring it out back and shoot it. Okay.
But you gotta, if you're gonna do a full MCU view party, Vulture shows up, so you got to include it.
It is
Kyle, I say this with all due respect to you, and I admire you greatly at this time. Get out.
Okay, can I talk positive then? Because there's anytime I talk on any podcast that is talking, comic book culture, have you talked about Legion?
No, but we should.
I will talk for hours about how good that show is.
It was a great show, absolutely.
Yeah. So whenever you want to do a deep dive, you give me a call and include me in that one.
Well, Kyle, do you remember the character that was half woman and then half the professor? And they kind of like merged at different times. She is the young lady who was the star of Prey. In Prey.
And it's amazing. She's so good.
Prey is
so good in Prey.
Kyle, we'll make you a deal. If we do that, you come on. I only have one request. At some point, you randomly put on circular glasses and a fez. It's my only request.
Fez?
Yes.
Why?
I don't have them with me.
No,
I don't have them with me.
Guys, okay. For those who don't know who I'm referencing, in Legion, we see many references to the famous X-Men nemesis, aka the Shadow King, aka known as Amal Farouk, who is most known for his dark circular sunglasses and his fez. So thank you. So I'll take some of your nerd card up there and across there. Kyle, you're fine. You're the guest. Okay. Call your X-Men
the one cosplay that has been in the back of my mind that I like actually, when I have time to make something for myself, I want to be the venomized Kingpin.
Oh, wow.
Dude.
Because and if you look, because I was looking for a Farouk action figure, something to put on my desk, and the only thing I could find online is somebody who took a couple of different action figures, specifically the Kingpin, and kind of fused them together and did a mashup on their own.
That's awesome.
Because now you've got me thinking that if I were to do the Venom Kingpin, that I'd already have the suit and I could modify it into a Farouk.
There you go, Venom Farouk.
Listen, on top of it, any classic X-Men fan would know exactly who you are and would be like, "This guy ain't nothing to fuck with. We got to shut this guy down." We got, literally, you know what you just got to ask? You just got to keep looking for Charles, and just like, "I'll put you back in that wheelchair, bitch." Like, what? Don't fuck with this Shadow King. What? No, what you gotta do is you do that. You go to a con, you get a photo with Chris Claremont, which is like, "Hey, Dad, how you doing? I'm gonna kill you now, but it's good to meet you." But no, do it, man. Why not? Go nuts. Go crazy.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, what are you watching now?
I think I just caught up on She-Hulk. Because I've been away for 3 weeks. I am so far behind. I just did in the last 3 days, caught up on She-Hulk, caught up on Rick and Morty. Yes. I watched Hocus Pocus 2, and I slogged through the Munsters just to say that I've done it.
I only got through 30 minutes. So this being your field, shit all over Rob Zombie for us.
Hey, no, whoa. Let's not. Hey. He's entitled to his opinion.
No, come on. This is his professional opinion.
Okay. The makeups were good. I know a lot of people are going to have a problem with that. There were a couple moments where you could see the edge right there when he's moving, and the cut that was right there on his jaw. Every now and then it what's that? On Herman. Yeah. Every now and then there were little things you could see that moved, but other than that, I don't want to go back to watch this a second time, but I swear there's one scene where like Lily is supposed to be white to like a lavender, and I swear there's one scene where she's just flesh tone. That they just didn't bother, and they were like, "Oh, we'll color correct in post or something like that," and never did. Cassandra Peterson was wasted. You put Elvira in there, and you put a stupid witch nose on her. Spoiler alerts, by the way. Maybe should have said that. Sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah, as a makeup artist, it was good. I will say that. I had problems with the lighting early on because it's harsh green and blue and purple and orange and red. But that is the slowest movie I have seen in a decade. Nothing happens. Ask anybody who has watched it what the plot of that movie is, and watch the confused look that slowly spreads across their face.
Well, it just seemed that Lily needed a man. That seemed to be at least the
But that wasn't the plot.
No?
That wasn't the plot. The plot was like she needed a man, and then the home but then the home was only an issue for a minute.
Right. All right.
They solve the, like, you go into it thinking that it's going to be Grandpa versus Herman Munster, vying for who gets, to marry Lily. And that's done in the first half of the movie. And then the second half is, again, spoilers, we sold the house got taken, but then that gets solved. Like, it's not even an issue. It's literally just them living their lives for 2 hours.
Right.
Grandpa is good. I'll say Grandpa's the best character in that movie.
I've heard that.
And Rob Zombie has a lifelong love of the Munsters property. How has this not been a script in his mind for like 20 years? This felt like it was written on the fly. Like they shot a bunch of improv stuff and they're like, here are the makeups, here are the locations. We'll figure out what the plot is later. And then the editor was just like, well, we got to fill 2 hours. Let's leave this in and leave that in. Who cares? I'm mad about that movie.
Yeah. Okay.
It's pretty clear, buddy.
Yeah.
I know I heard legally he was not allowed to do it in black and white, but that's no excuse for the rest of the movie.
I was fine with the colors of them. The Munsters are in color in the movie or movies. In at least one movie, they are in color.
Right.
I was fine with the color. There were certain things I was fine with, like the rock and roll band stuff was okay. But then there's a whole song and dance number that was just a filler, and it wasn't good. There's a whole vacation thing that didn't need to happen. If it were me, if we were going back in time and you put Kyle in charge, if you take that and you cut it from 2 hours down to 1 hour, and you say, this is the introduction to a TV show that Rob Zombie is going to be making, then you can make it passable. This is a setup. This is a prequel. This is going into what we're doing, but not, a thing to be stood on its own.
Right.
Then it's okay. But
Sure.
It's such a mess up. A lot of people have been saying, like, oh, the ending leads right into what could be a good thing. And I'm like, I don't want Rob Zombie touching it again. This one was so messed up that just leave it alone.
Sure. Move on from the property.
Yeah.
Leave it as its classic self.
Have you all watched Hocus Pocus 2 yet?
Not
Yes.
No.
No?
Watched it.
What's that?
Oh yeah, I watched it already.
Thoughts?
that good.
It was
Huh?
entertaining. No. It's just Leo. It's again. I don't want to spoil anything in case any of our viewers have yet to watch it. Normally, I just have a policy that I kind of wait at least 2-3 weeks because then I can say, "Hey, everyone had some time." I say it's fine. Honestly, it was entertaining. To me, I know some people are like, "Oh, that was better than the original," whatnot. For me, I was fine with it. My criticisms are more near how certain characters were handled and the ending. It didn't need a cut scene at the end. I will say that was some sequel bait if I've ever seen it. Bette Midler and the two awesome actresses, of course, who played the sisters, Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Nimbley, the Sanderson. Yeah, who I again adore, love her from Sister Act. She was great. They're great. Don't really see these new characters going anywhere. Certain things I felt were wasted, but I mean, I've watched worse live action Disney movies. It was fine. It was, people who are fans will enjoy it. I know some people who really love Hocus Pocus. Me, I'm like, I saw it. I'm fine. I don't feel like I need to see it again, but happy Halloween, bitches.
I think it was good. I don't think it was classic.
This is something I've said to people before. Again, being a fan of movies, I feel a lot of modern movies don't have that long-term longevity that a lot of classic movies do. And simply because a lot of them would rather play it safe and bank on things like nostalgia and familiar formulas instead of trying something new simply because of being afraid that it'll fail.
Yeah.
And that is to blame. And that Hollywood now is to blame for that because it's better following genre, following formulas, because they're guaranteed safeness. You know, you will make a profit. You could have another one. You'll get paid. It's cool. We're beyond an era where people take chances. You know, the ones that take more chances are independent films. They're taking a lot more chances. And, you know, movies are just too expensive to waste going into the theater. If you really are passionate about a film, go. Me, I am so glad I didn't see Morbius in theaters because I would have just demanded a refund about as quick as I did for Matrix Revolutions. Because no. But that's my feelings on that. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah,
a lot of modern day movies don't have that rewatchable longevity. Like we were just talking about classic horror movies to watch this season. I just watched Halloween, the original, for the first time. Great. So glad I finally got that done. But there's some that every year I love watching. Like, honestly, as it gets closer to Halloween, my favorite is Trick or Treat, which they have announced that they're going to do a sequel to. And I'm pumped because I love that movie.
But this is like the 3rd time that they've announced that they're doing a sequel.
Well, I'm fine with it. I'm 3 times just as excited. So whatever works, my dude.
There you go.
Know? It's just, again, listen, there will be movies. People will be paid for them. Hello. You know?
We are getting Werewolf by Night in 3 days.
Bam.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know it was coming that quick.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
I haven't seen any marketing for it.
I think I just saw like a poster like 2 weeks ago. That was it.
Well, Kyle, if it's going to be good, you can believe these 3 nerds will market the fuck out of that. Okay.
The trailer was phenomenal. There's
a trailer?
Yeah. I've seen the trailer. Yeah. The trailer even has Swamp Thing in it.
What?
No, not Swamp Thing. Man Thing.
Man Thing.
All right, I'm gonna. When we hang up, I'm gonna have to go look at this.
Yeah, you have to YouTube it.
We could be getting it could be small. We could be getting a Midnight Suns just without Morbius. You know, listen. This is the MCU. They have already confirmed a Ghost Rider. Okay, and now we get some Blade.
Yeah, vampires have popped up again in Marvel. I mean, just the last episode of She-Hulk.
Are we sure he was a vampire?
I looked up. I wasn't. I knew about the Taurus guy. I knew he was an existing character, but I looked it up. All those characters existed. The guy with the sword. He's actually a mutant that sends bioelectrics through his sword. Porcupine Man. I actually did remember him, and Sauron, I think his name was. He was in the Blade series.
Interesting.
Wait. Sauron? You mean the pterodactyl guy who wants to turn people into
No. You're not up on the latest episode of She-Hulk. It's a vampire, and I could be butchering his name. Maybe it's Soran or something to that effect.
Cool. Yeah. Because
when we get the psychic pterodactyl, then we've reached peak MCU.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
And Kyle, I mean, you do know the news, that the Deadpool news, right?
With Hugh Jackman.
Yes. Okay.
Sure. Love that one. I never thought we would see that ever.
And the possibilities of the different timeline versions of Wolverine is pretty exciting too.
Yeah.
It's really amusing because the Logan director was like, no, we're good. He still died. Like, this is probably someone else. Who knows? But we're good. Like, calm down, everyone. I'm excited too. And
I just feel like, I mean, that's a huge get, right? But there's gonna be something that they're keeping close to the chest about that movie. You know, like how Juggernaut being in Deadpool 2 was, nowhere in the marketing, I don't think, and then came out of nowhere. If Hugh Jackman's in this one, they're doing something crazy that they're not going to tell us.
Of course. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it.
He still has that time traveling gadget, right?
Yeah, absolutely. From the end of 2.
I think, and Cable stayed in their timeline, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he bounced around to go mess with the timeline, including getting rid of his former version of himself.
Yep. And killing Rhino.
The merc without a mouth.
Well, also got rid of himself as he's reading the
Green Lantern
script. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Canada.
Is there any universe in which Cable fights Thanos? Like, how do we swing this all the way around?
Oh,
It's going to be a few years for that one, Kyle.
Well, I'm thinking
maybe another decade, because they got a lot more work to go through.
I'm sorry, I just was doing some Doctor Strange scanning realities. It might be there, but it's I don't want to point to one, because then one member in this room will die, and I don't want it to be me. So
Kyle, would you take an MCU project?
Yes.
Yeah, even though they're notoriously hard on their staff.
It depends on what department you're in. I know, so Josh Turry, Designs to Deceive, who did some of the prosthetics for us for Kumari. He did basically any prosthetic you saw in Daredevil, Luke Cage, any of those shows. He was the guy.
Nice.
So like when someone gets sliced in the chest with a sword, that's a prosthetic that he ran, in his shop that day. And watching and hearing the stories from him, they're long days, but they were not treated as poorly as I'm hearing, the effects artists were treated.
Okay.
The CG guys. A lot of it, because that stuff was so slapdash quick, and it's we made a right hand slice wound when it needs to be a left hand slice wound, and it's just the continuity's not going to line up. And as long as we're geeking out, I did call him out on. There's a black eye in Punisher that looks really bad, and it was one day that he couldn't make it, and somebody had to do something, and then because of continuity, he had to do the exact same. So there's like 2 episodes of this black eye that doesn't look right because one person was just like phoned it in.
Oh wow!
And nobody's going to notice that but me.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
That's funny because we hear all the rumors, and you talk to the people every day.
Not every day, but I get my moments. I got to hold the molds for not that I've watched the show, but Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
His little penguin nose. You see, the tiniest little prosthetic. It's just so cute.
Very cool.
Gotham was really good up to a point.
I've heard. I do need to go back and watch it at some point.
Leo, let's not go there. Let's not go there.
I think Monahan did a great job for his Joker.
There were things that were good, but we're not going to go there. I don't know how much more time our guest has, and we still got to review our book and things. So let's not, Leo, don't take me down that rabbit hole, man.
Just really quick. Speaking of sword slashing, I finally saw Bullet Train. Holy shit, is that a good movie?
Yeah. And interestingly enough, a lot of the Deadpool connections was there because you had Zazie Beetz is in that, and of course the Star, and he was in Deadpool. He was the Vanisher. And then we get a little cameo of Ryan in it too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Is Ryan Reynolds in Bullet Train?
He is a cameo. Yeah, he is.
Oh, cameo. Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, movie's friggin' phenomenal. I highly recommend everybody.
I thought it was pretty good too. We just watched it as well.
Yeah, nice.
It felt a little. It felt kind of Quentin Tarantino-ish. But I definitely we were just digging the interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I'm going to have to head out in a moment.
Yep.
That's fine.
But I want to ask about a nostalgia thing.
Go for it.
Does anybody remember a quickie little? I don't even. It wasn't X-Men. It was maybe Gen X or something that I want to say Fox did back in the 90s.
Yes.
Does anybody remember that show?
I'm remembering the guy that stretched. Was that Skin?
Yeah.
Okay. Vaguely, very vaguely.
Yeah.
I want to watch it. I haven't. It's been what 30 years.
Yeah.
And I cannot find it anywhere. So if anybody can find it, send it my way. Get Decimated.
Hey, Yo-Yo says he remembers it. Gen X?
Was it Gen X?
No, is that the name of it?
I don't know.
No, I think it was something like that because remember they couldn't say X-Men, and now everything is very loosely based. So they, because again, around that time, Marvel was still going through some shit. So it was one of those like, hi, we want to make money, but we don't want to give up our characters. So, it's kind of like how, if we all remember, if we're talking nostalgia, we're going to remember Birds of Prey and how well that did. You don't actually see
Generation X from 1996.
Yeah.
I mean, there was definitely the comic, but I haven't found the cartoon.
No. Because I remember, I remember seeing trailers of it when I was a kid. And even then I was like, what the hell's this? Generation X. I was like, these mutants? What crap is this?
I'm gonna have to dig into that after the show.
Okay.
I'll do some digging for you.
Yeah, listen, if anybody can find it, it's Leo.
Yeah. Kyle, thank you so much for your time tonight. And
thank you guys for having me.
All your projects. And like we said, the links are above and down below. If you guys want to check out his Haunt or the Get Decimated website, there's some really cool props and things that he's worked on before.
I'm trying so hard to update things. It's just impossible right now with everything we have going on. And pictures I can share, pictures I can't. I never know.
Listen, Kyle, do yourself a favor, okay? You remember that thing you talked about? Go do it. Go get some sleep, please. Okay.
So, Kyle, where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
Facebook and Instagram, I guess. I've done the TikTok thing when I have time, but really, I'd say Instagram and just bug me to post whatever I'm doing at that moment, and I'll just post it.
Cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we got all his information. Show us up above or down below. Kyle, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you, everyone, and I hope to come back soon.
Oh, totally. Yeah. We'll have you back. We'll do a Legion show.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Legion.
I'll connect
and then I
you
can
guys,
discuss my fringe joke.
There you go.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah,
Thanks, Kyle. All right.
He's an awesome dude.
And
absolutely.
Yeah. Before we get into things, I just want to show these off really quick. A little show and tell. My my local comic shop did a delivery for me. He dropped off some stuff.
What do you got? Oh,
yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. So I had 3 on pre-order, but he only had 2 for me. So the so I have the Bermejo version.
Nice.
And he knows I love Bermejo, so he got some extra covers in there for me.
Nice. So basically, Leo, if I find he's at a con, I need to let you know like immediately.
Oh hell yeah. I think the coolest one is, hold on, let me find it. Oh, Action Comics. Bermejo did Action Comics.
Nice.
And he has a new art book out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rich, that's a fan right there.
Yeah, man. Leo's emptying his pockets, boy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Joe over at Sarge's Comics, he knows I like his stuff, so whenever he sees like a special issue, he'll set it aside for me.
Yeah, it's all right. You have a bird. Listen, you have a bird me how boner. We got it. Thank you. You know, so all right. So let's get with the time we have left, because we're by the time we get finished this, we're gonna run in 2 hours, which are normal for our guests. So we can at least give Deceased at least 30 minutes. So this is a book that I recommended. I stumbled onto it because I was doing an article about it for a Screen Rant, and I decided to read everything leading up to it. And I got to say, I was very impressed with this book, which technically is kind of an Elseworld. Let's just call it true. An alternate reality in the DC universe is forever considered an Elseworld in my mind. But I think the one thing we need to get out of the bed, these are not zombies.
No.
No, and they even clarify that in the book. These are not zombies. They look like zombies. They sound like zombies. They're looking to consume living entities like zombies, but they are not zombies.
Well, now, Drew, since this story's come out a while, do you want to try to explain how the virus came to be in this story?
Essentially, everybody, I'll give the Drew summary of this. So essentially, in one universe, Darkseid got so butthurt over Justice League whooping his ass that he decided that he was finally going to really take his obsession with the anti-life equation to another level. So he kidnaps Cyborg, forces his lead torturer, Dceased, to literally manipulate the situation with a mother box and Cyborg's body to understand the anti-life equation, kidnaps the Black Racer, who is the new god's Grim Reaper, uses his body or blood or essence to essentially corrupt the anti-life equation and basically make Darkseid ground zero for a techno-organic virus. So this literally, I mean, by God, man.
Which makes people crazy and makes them want to like rip their own skin off.
Basically, Rich, the difference between this is that we've seen that in zombie movies where the zombies, after a time, their flesh decomposes because they're not alive anymore. So whatnot. In this case, the anti-life equation, which is supposed to remove all free will from an entity and subject it to complete submission, this equation is so toxic, the host's body is literally ripping itself apart, trying to get it out of itself.
Right.
You know, and when it can't do that, it then wants to corrupt other living entities. I chose this personally because it's the spooky season is upon us, but I wanted to do something different than just, hey, let's just read a zombie comic. I liked that this encapsulates essentially a zombie story, but it's not one. And
right. And I think it is sort of interesting and original the way they went at it with that kind of origin, and also the way that it spreads through the internet or any digital screen.
And the thing what I liked about it is that since this is an alternate reality, you have the ability to take stories in directions that you wouldn't expect. And what I also liked is something that Tom Taylor, the writer, pointed out: no one is safe. You know how people are like, oh, Batman will be the first one to survive. He dies early on in this book. Absolutely. You know what I mean? You see, and then you're allowed changes of things. You know, you're allowed to see characters take different directions. Now, this book has been out for a while, so I really don't want to spoil too much of anything. But there were some great moments here. Damian Wayne has some great moments. Diana Lance has some wonderful moments. I really enjoyed the Next Generation. Like, I love Damian and Jonathan Kent. Their friendship here is so great. There was some really great moments. But the thing that really stuck out to me wasn't just the story. The artwork for this was just fantastic. I mean, Trevor Hairsine is a great artist, and he really draws these characters in a truly terrifying way. I mean, they're just sickening to look at. And I believe the inker, Stefano, I forget his last name. Guedes or something like that. And I apologize if he's somehow listening to this, sir. I do apologize. He was an inker for The Walking Dead, so he's got the chops for zombies.
Okay.
So, I mean, honestly, this book was great. It really had a lot of ups and downs. There were some great moments. There were some quotable moments. I mean, there was really something for everybody in this, and I thoroughly enjoyed the story. This is my introduction to Tom Taylor. I mean, he's done great work since. For those who may not know his name, he did a huge chunk of the Injustice comics that were tying into the video game, that little universe. He did a terrific run on the Suicide Squad, and besides Deceased, he also did Marvel's Dark Ages, and currently him and his constant partner Bruno Redondo are just tearing it up on Nightwing. So, I mean, this guy is just doing some great work. So honestly, more power to him.
Art's beautiful. The storyline was great. Way darker ending. I don't want to ruin it, but not your typical superhero conglomerate hero ending in any way.
Absolutely not. And it was great. Leo, what did you think?
I loved it. I've been putting this off for a while because I thought, it's another zombie, storyline. But knowing that it's not zombies, and like you said, they make reference of that multiple times. It was just extremely well written. I agree, the art is fabulous. But just how all the characters interact, and everybody has their own time in the limelight, even when it's somebody dying. It's just superb.
Yeah, and the sadness. It really is a real horror comic because there's really no one is safe. Everybody experiences a tragic loss in some way or another. I mean, and then what I also like is that there were definitely some really cool moments in the book. Personally, I have to give credit in terms of this book. One of the best, coolest moments, besides one that Leo is about to show, which I know is one of Rich's favorites, is a cool moment for Cyborg when they're facing
Giganta,
an infected. Because we don't want to say undead because they're not. Let's just say infected because it's true. It's an infection. Oh my God, when Cyborg takes this woman out, I mean, that just one-page panel is beautiful.
Yeah, there it is.
And that is just some screensaver shit waiting to happen right there. That is a cover photo. Like, holy crap.
And that is the stuff of nightmares for sure.
Pretty much. But I got to say this, and I think you guys agree with me. One of the funniest ongoing jokes, Green Arrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Era being so salty over Batman is just
what? There's no way to kill me. What? I could be. What did he say?
I could take over the world. No, and I remember Black Canary was like, "Oh, are you mad that Batman didn't have some sort of post-Machiavellian plan to take you down?" Maybe.
Right. And then he ends up taking a big wig down at one point. He goes, "See, look what I just did."
Yeah, he did. He lists all of the things he just did, and he's just like at the end, "Fuck you, Batman."
Yeah. What was it? Hit a target over a mile with a headwind.
Yeah. Don't spoil it.
And there's even a thing with Scott Free at one point, which is a reference to his series where he's like he talks about a veggie platter.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah. So this, Leo, what you're seeing here, that's one of the one shots. I've read it. Rich, I don't know if you got to read it in the collection. It was really great.
No, I didn't read that one.
But that one is basically you see what happens to Scott. Leo, don't show it to him if he hasn't seen it.
Okay.
You haven't seen what happens to Scott, Big Barda. You also see what happens to Ted Cord, Booster Gold, and a bunch of other people. It is just, again, all Tom Taylor. He wrote.
There was another one because I listened to this on YouTube before I read it, and at the end of it had a whole thing with the sorcerer Constantine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which changed
And he-
up the end of the storyline.
And he plays a big role in future Deceased stories. So honestly, I got to say this to anybody, please give this book a shot. I mean, there is so much. There are 4 volumes of it. The first one is what you're seeing here, Deceased. The second one is where you basically see the same story, but from the villain's standpoint, and it's really great. And then you also have the one shots and other things that are kind of filling in other stories that happen within the DC storyline. Then you have the sequel, which I believe came out last year, which was Deceased Dead Planet.
Man, look at
And
that
then
Joker. That is evil looking. Oof.
yeah, and then yes, these are the variants. So Leo, just pause this for a second. And then you have the current book right now, which is part 3, and that's the end of Deceased. And Tom Taylor confirmed it was always a trilogy. This is the end. This one is big. We're talking like the whole universe big. So this here for everybody, these gorgeous covers are by an artist. His name is Francesco Mattina. I've met him. He does a lot of great artwork and stuff. I met him because he did a lot of variant covers for Spider-Man 2099, which of course we have yet to cover, but we will. These covers for the variants, since this book did amazing, these are called the Faces of Death. So this is zombified versions of classic DC characters. And honestly, they are just stunning to look at. I mean, just the horror angle alone, like Rich, like that could be a birthday card for you, the Joker. And that Harley is just terrifying.
Yeah, that is crazy looking.
Yeah. All right. So now, Rich, I would like to play a game with you. You are a horror movie fan. Leo, my God, man, you have the worst spoilers of any person. Why are you without a keyboard? I would like to play a game with you here where these are Deceased movie poster covers. So essentially, I want you to see, we're going to show you the variant cover. I want you to guess what the movie is.
Okay.
There are 6 of them. The artist, his name is Yasmin Putri.
There's 3 sets. So there's 3 of them.
Well, that clearly we all float up in here.
Right. So this is
it.
Right. The chapter 1. Good. And also,
that's creepy to see them together like that.
Yeah, like, and especially, and the thing that I really enjoy is that if you look through the balloon, you can still see the Joker smiling through that balloon.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you can.
You know, awesome. Which terrifying. So next.
Carrie?
Is that your final answer?
Would you like to phone a friend?
I do.
Well, hold on a second. Ring, ring. Yes, hello, Leo. We're on Splash Pages. This cover here, do you by chance maybe have a recommendation?
Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street.
And is it? Yes, it is. Nightmare. Click.
Okay. All right, took me a second. Took me a minute. I'm sitting. I'm like analyzing. I'm like,
I have to be honest.
Claws, duh.
Out of all the ones that we've seen, this is my favorite. I mean, honestly, it is a gorgeous cover, and by God, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Next.
I think so this is the last one. I think this is going to be the hardest.
No, there were 3 others. There were 6, Leo. I sent you.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
All right, stop. There were 6, Leo. Trust me, I know.
Okay, hold on.
All right. So,
I have no idea what this is.
This is a little obscure, so I won't fault you if you don't know this one. But
it's not really obscure. It's.
I just feel like it's not as big as some of the ones we'll see.
Yeah, but it is part of a very large franchise.
Is it one of the Frankenstein movies?
No.
You
have 2 more guesses. It's very. I will give you a hint, Rich. It has a religious. It has a religious theme to it. Mm-hmm. You give up?
Yeah, I do.
All right. It is Leo.
The Nun. Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that one.
But you got to admit, though, like,
Yeah.
I
mean, when you see them together, absolutely, there's no question.
yeah. So there are 3 more, but somebody, despite me sending them way at end time.
Well, he's probably checking his messages as we speak.
Well, he responded to all my messages about them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but okay, so I didn't see the original covers though.
Well, no, I definitely know those images were there too because I sent.
Yeah, no, they're
They
there.
kill so fast you won't have time to scream.
Okay, now the one I would say that this is based. This is an obscure monster movie. It's a kind of monster movie, and it spun out of a popular Spielberg monster movie.
It's not
Okay.
Monkey Shines.
It's not. What the hell is that?
I don't know. It's an old horror movie I remember.
No, they're very small but lethal creatures.
Critters.
Yes, Leo. They eat so fast you won't have time to scream. Yes,
Yeah,
that one was a little weird to me. There are there 2 more, I think. Right, Leo? There's 2 more.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, that just ruined it.
Just show him the cover.
Hold on.
He's working on it. Hey, he's just back, you know.
Look at, but you got that.
Yeah.
A DC, that's a Final Destination Teen Titans cover. That was awesome.
Okay, hold on.
There is one more, Rich, and this is also a tie-in to a popular franchise, I think. Right, Leo?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm trying. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So
tied into actually one of the franchises that was already shown.
What do you think, Rich?
Oh, we just got her on the bottom and then on top.
Mm-hmm. Which again, look at. I mean, just great.
It is. I would say this is equally obscure.
Yeah, this and The Nun are very obscure. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You got me again. This is tough.
Leo, show.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that movie. Llorona?
Yeah.
La Llorona?
The Curse of La Llorona.
Yeah, that's part of the Conjuring franchise, right? Same as The Nun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the joke is at the beginning, at the top, they're like, that's what they reference to, like from the producers of the DC universe. I was like, wow, like the attention to detail. And it's funny because they continued that with the other DCs, but they didn't do horror. They just did like popular covers and stuff. So
there was another one.
Yeah. So basically with the Unkillables, they did that with like certain superhero, like certain other movies. And with Dead Planet, they did it with sci-fi covers. Yes. There you go. Like this is for the one shots. So you had that.
Yeah, I think that's the last one they have in here.
Yeah, that was for the one shot that you had part of the collection. But I mean, look at them. They're just gorgeous. Yeah, that was for the one shot, which is, as you know, that's the haunting.
Yeah, this series 100% was perfect for Shocktober.
Yes. So thank you, Leo. I'm sorry. I didn't really care to watch that. So I'm not a big fan of The Conjuring.
Really?
Yeah, there's some ghost story movies that just don't really move me. I think it's also because I kind of, to be quite honest, the Warrens kind of annoy me a little bit. So I don't know. But a lot of well-publicized spiritual investigators bug me because why? But whatever. But back to my point, I thought this is a great read. I really do hope that you guys, after tonight, do continue reading more of it because it's a great read. Leo, you're meaning to do it. So, hey. But I definitely recommend it's a good read for this season. And honestly, if anybody is interested, please, there's more than enough to go around.
Well, yeah, Deceased and Death Metal, I've been holding off on reading both of those. And it's just, you know, without knowing too much about it, it was really off-putting, like especially with Deceased, thinking it was just another, zombie, type of movie, but or show,
Well,
but
Or
Leo,
series.
or a
I
series.
definitely, I definitely feel that reading Deceased, you'll get through a lot quicker than if you were to do death metal, because death metal had a lot of tie-ins.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I know you're not going to read all of them, but it's a big storyline. Like even I've been putting that off.
yeah.
So I totally get it. So trust me, read DC. Save that for the next year. Death
Yeah,
Metal.
Drew, if you had to rate this one, what do you think you would rate it?
Honestly, I'm giving it 4 dark sides. Like I actually 4.5. Because again, I very rarely give a perfect score. This is really close. This was a really well done book. And again, I love when the people work so well in tandem. Like Tom and his creators, they're always working great, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I this is one of the rare things where I recommend the whole universe, because this story is literally been written by one person, and it's been excellent the entire thing. There is not a single story I've read in it that I felt this was a throwaway. Everything was stupendous. And honestly, if you guys thought the twists and turns with this one is good, I mean, Unkillables, Deceased 2, the one shot we just saw, Nobody is Safe, and the twists are fantastic. Like,
Right.
so I'm giving it 4.5.
Nice.
4.5. I don't know what we're going to call it. You know what? 4.5 dead planets. There you go.
There you go. What do you think, Leo?
I'm gonna go to same 4.5.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
What about you, Rich?
I'm gonna go just a hair under you guys with 4.25.
Okay.
I think even though it was an interesting story, it still felt a little disposable, and I didn't feel like even when some of the larger characters were passed on, I didn't really feel that heart pull. So
Okay.
that's why it's just a little bit lower for me.
Okay, but still a good read.
Yeah. But I did want to mention, have either of you guys checked out Andor yet? I saw the first episode and I thought it was tremendously boring, and I have not gone on to the second yet.
Unfortunately, I've watched all 3 episodes so far.
Okay, you say unfortunately, so that sounds like it doesn't get much better.
So if they didn't release episodes 1 and 2, did they release 2 or 3? They released 3, I think. So
I've only seen the first one.
Okay, so I think I just watched the 4th.
Okay.
I think. If they didn't do that, release multiple episodes at once, I would have stopped after the first one. But since the second one was right there, I watched both of those, and I think it got a little better, but it's very slow, very drawn out. It's a spy thriller, it's
very slow.
That's what it is. Yeah.
You checked it out, Drew?
No, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I just said honestly, so I'm good on my Star Wars. I'm just gonna wait until Mandalorian season 3 comes out.
Yeah.
That I that or Ashoka, whichever one comes out first. Like those two are the ones on my radar with Star Wars. Beyond that, I'm good, man. Like I applaud the people wanting to fill in the gaps in the history and tell different stories from the Star Wars universe. If they're done well, I'm all for it. But I just feel that this batch around, I don't know. I just feel that there's something missing in some of the Star Wars. I feel like I don't feel, just like Rich, you didn't feel that heart pull. I didn't feel that excitement like I felt every episode of Mandalorian.
Right.
And I know that's not fair to compare things because you can't always capture lightning in a bottle more than once.
Sure.
But I just didn't. Yeah, like when Andor happened, I wasn't like, oh, cool, more Star Wars. Like, why? Why do we need this?
Right. Because I really enjoyed the animated Bad Batch.
Yeah,
So
Bad Batch was really good, but this year it's so. What I said was it's just it's a spy. It's not even a thriller, you know. It's like the last episode, and spoilers, but
Leo, let's call it what it is: a spy filler.
a spy filler. Yeah, well, I just wanted to point one thing out where they're tying it into the rest of the storylines. We have Mon Mothma, where she's a senator, and she's trying to get a message to. I mean, it's not to rebellion yet, but it's she's kind of sneaking around, and there's like she's in the middle of Imperial City, um and like there's not
Whoa,
spies, but what's that?
Leo, relax, man. Many Bothans died to bring us this information. You need to calm down. Relax. Show that senator some respect. I'm just kidding. I don't care.
But in general, it's not a great experience.
No, it's not. I doubt I'll continue it, but if I have a lunch break to kill, maybe I will.
Right. Who are we kidding, Leo? We know you're going to finish it.
Yeah, stop it.
No, you know what? My bet is he actually puts up some boundaries and says, "Nah, I'm betting on boundary, Leo."
Okay. Well, I've seen Leo, and I've met Leo, and Leo has promised his wife many times to cut down on toy buying. He knows no boundaries.
You know what, Leo?
Not when it comes to toys. Being a nerd.
I agree with Rich about the toys, but I'm rooting for you, buddy. I think if you don't like it, you can stop at any time. It's the same thing. Like if you don't like what you're reading in a book, you don't pick up that next issue because you're not going to do that. Oh, it'll get better.
I did cancel all my Transformers pre-orders. Hey, J-Bo, how's it going?
There you go.
He says, did somebody say toys?
Yeah,
I
was. I like how, as you said that, he was like,
"Me? Who? Did someone call my name?"
He just genied. He was like, "What? What's up? Hi."
So yeah, I canceled my pre-orders. I was gonna collect the new Menasor, the Stunticons, and I decided not to.
All right.
Yeah.
Good boy,
Leo.
Very proud of you.
My
first step.
Because Leo, you realize if you didn't, that your wife was going to become a Menasor.
Oh yeah.
And
Leo,
then
one day at a time, Leo. One day at a time.
Well, I know. I just had to replace a hard drive in Pluther, so it's
Yeah.
I figured I had to make a balance.
Leo, I enjoy your home life as Cybertron. I don't want you to flee to the other world of the guest room or the couch. So let's avoid that destruction of Cybertron and let's just keep the planet united.
Sounds good.
Let's not turn your wife into Omnicron. Okay. Can we just let's avoid that? So,
and I think
if you ever tell her I compared her to all that, I will deny and say her husband is a filthy liar.
Will do.
And on that note, we're coming into 2 hours, so
wrapping
up. Wrap this baby up.
Jabo says, trust me, the Hasbro PulseCon that happened this weekend, it was insane. I saw all the announcements. Serpentor. I didn't.
Don't do this to him. This is not the Sopranos. We just pulled him out. You're not supposed to pull him back in.
But actually, so just real quick, McFarlane, I think he adjusted some of his prices. That was in the news. We'll talk about that more next week. But we'll wrap things up. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. We got a ton of shows on the network. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. So head on over to thedorkening.com, which you can find all the latest episodes of everything right there. Drew.
Did it.
Yeah, I have nothing more to say. This is a good show. You can look me up on social media or other places. It's a spooky season, so get your apple cider, get your pumpkin spice, get your horror movie marathon on, work on your costumes. Oh, and for those attending this weekend, enjoy New York Comic Con because we at Splash Pages will not be there because of life.
Yep, exactly. In Velvet.
Hey, it's me, and you can find me on the gram at Velvet Joker 2021, or you can find me on the TikTok at Velvet Joker 1, or you can find me here every Tuesday on the award-winning Splash Pages, a comic book club podcast. Good night.
Good night. Jabo says, "Love you, Drew." And night, guys. We need to do a show about toys. Jabo, let us know. If you're free one night, maybe we'll do a segment.
Jabo is the Dorkening toy guy.
A toy-themed show. Is that what you're looking for? Are you looking for a toy-themed show? Let us know.
Bye.
Bye.